Hello students, how are you all? Today I am going to start a classroom teaching exercise questions of equilibrium. So look at the question number 1. The following is a reversible reaction. Option 1. KClO3 heated in a sealed tube. Option 2. Na2CO3 heated in a closed vessel. Option 3. CaCO3 heated in a closed vessel. Option 4. CH4 heated with excess of O2 in a closed vessel. So look at the first option. KClO3 heated in a sealed tube. It is a irreversible reaction. Look at the second option. Na2CO3 heated in a closed vessel. It is also a irreversible reaction. Look at the third option. CaCO3 heated in a closed vessel. Thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate. So I am taking a calcium carbonate CaCO3. It is a solid. Upon heating, thermal decomposition of CaCO3 will get CaO solid plus CO2 gas in a closed vessel. The thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in a closed vessel is a reversible reaction. The thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in a closed vessel is a reversible reaction. The same reaction is carried out in a open vessel. Thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in a open vessel. I am taking CaCO3 solid gives rise to CaO solid plus CO2 gas. This is in a open vessel. So the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in a open vessel is a irreversible reaction, because here is CO2. What is the CO2 is formed? The CO2 escapes from the container. The vessel is opened. I am taking this is the vessel. The vessel is opened. Calcium carbonate upon heating, the product is carbon dioxide gas will be produced. Carbon dioxide gas plus CaO is solid. So the carbon dioxide gas will escape from the container. So that reversible reaction is not possible. If the vessel is closed, this carbon dioxide cannot escape from the container. As a result, reverse reaction is possible. So the thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate in a closed vessel is a reversible reaction. So look at the question number 1. The following is a reversible reaction. Option 3 is correct. CaCO3 heated in a closed vessel. So question number 1, third option is correct. Next, question number 2. Look at the question number 2. The experimental curve obtained when the rate of reaction is plotted against the concentration of the reactants. Concentration of reactant appeared parallel to the concentration axis after some time in a reaction. This indicates that the meaning of this question is if the graph is plotted between the rate of reaction against concentration of a reactant. The graph is plotted between the rate of reaction against concentration of reactant. The curves are parallel to the concentration axis. This is because equilibrium is established. This is the reason. This is because equilibrium is established. So look at the options. First option, the reaction is stopped. Second option, equilibrium is established. Third option, concentration of reactant is negligible. Fourth option, reaction is complex. So the graph is plotted between the rate of reaction against a concentration of reactant. The graphs curves are parallel to the concentration axis. This is because of equilibrium is established. Second question, second option is correct. Question number 2, second option is correct. So look at the question number 3. Question number 3, which of the following is irreversible reaction? PCl5 gives rise to PCl3 plus Cl2. So PCl5 option writing PCl5 gives rise to PCl3 plus Cl2. It is a irreversible reaction. Second option, 2SO2. 2SO2 gives rise to 2SO2 plus 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. Next, third option, N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. So look at the fourth option, 2KClO3 gives rise to 2KCl plus 3O2. So in a given 4 options, first 3 options all are reversible reactions. Only fourth option. KClO3 upon heating will produce 2KCl plus 3O2. This is a irreversible reaction. So question number 3, fourth option is correct. Next question number 4. Look at the question number 4. Which of the following behave as a irreversible reaction when conducted in a closed vessel? So look at the first one, synthesis of ammonia. Synthesis of ammonia, nothing but this equation only. N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. This is a reversible reaction. It is not irreversible, this is a reversible reaction. Next, decomposition of PCl5 solid. So PCl5 solid, you can take PCl5 upon thermal decomposition will produce PCl3 plus Cl2. This equation only. Next, look at the third option. SO3 from SO2 and O2. This equation again. So SO2 plus O2. 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. This is also a reversible reaction. Look at the fourth option, precipitation of Cl by AgNO3. I am taking AgNO3 plus NaCl in aqueous solution. So this is in aqueous, this is also in aqueous. Gives rise to, the product is AgCl. This is will get PPT, precipitate. PPT will get and one more product is plus NaNO3. So this is a irreversible reaction. So precipitation of AgNO3 plus AgCl gives rise to AgNO3 plus NaCl gives rise to AgCl plus NaNO3. The precipitation of AgCl is a irreversible reaction. Look at the options. An example of so which of the following behave as a irreversible reaction when conducted in a closed vessel? Fourth question, fourth option is correct. Question number 4, fourth option is correct. Next question number 5. Look at the question number 5. An example of reversible reaction. Option 1, AgNO3 plus NaCl gives rise to AgCl plus NaNO3. So this is the precipitation reaction, precipitation of AgCl. The precipitation of AgCl is a irreversible reaction. So first option is incorrect. Look at the second option. 2Na plus 2H2O gives rise to 2NaOH plus H2. So whenever the sodium metal is added to the water, will produce sodium hydroxide and liberate hydrogen gas. It is also a irreversible reaction. Look at the third option. 2KClO3 gives rise to 2KCl plus 3O2. It is a thermal decomposition reaction. Thermal decomposition of KClO3. The thermal decomposition of KClO3 gives KCl plus O2. It is also a irreversible reaction. Look at the fourth option. NH4HS gives rise to NH3 plus H2S. This is a reversible reaction. So NH4HS solid gives rise to NH3 gas plus H2S gas. So it is a reversible reaction. So question number 5, fourth option is correct. Now look at the question number 6. Which of the following is a characteristic of a reversible reaction at equilibrium? Option 1, number of moles of reactants and products are equal. Option 2, it can be influenced by a catalyst. Option 3, it can never proceed to completion. Option 4, it can be attained in a open vessel. So look at the first option, number of moles of reactant and products are equal. No. So it may be or may not be equal. So first option is incorrect. Second option, it can be influenced by a catalyst. So catalyst does not alter the state of equilibrium. Catalyst does not alter the state of equilibrium. It speeds up only attainment of equilibrium. So catalyst does not alter the state of equilibrium, but it speeds up only attainment of equilibrium. So second option also is incorrect. Look at the third option. It can never proceed to completion. This is the correct answer. So equilibrium reactions are never proceed to completion because they are dynamic in nature. So dynamic nature in the sense rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Dynamic in nature. Equilibrium reactions are dynamic in nature. That means rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So reactants are converting into products. in turn products are converting into reactants. So this process continuously will take place. Reactants converting into products, products converting into reactants. So the reaction won't go completion. So this is a correct answer. Fourth option, it can be attained in a open vessel. So reversible reactions are attained in a closed vessels, not in open vessel. So sixth question, third option is correct. It can be never proceed to completion because these are the equilibrium reactions are dynamic in nature. Rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So reactants are converting into products, products are converting into reactants, continuously will be taking place. So question number 6, third option is correct. Question number 7. Look at the question number 7. A chemical reaction is said to have attained equilibrium when? A chemical reaction is said to have attained equilibrium when? Option 1, equal amounts of reactants and products are formed. Option 2, reactants are completely converting into products. Option 3, rate of forward reaction equal to the rate of backward reaction. Option 4, the concentration of reactants and products is the same. So the chemical reaction is said to have attained equilibrium. When the chemical reaction is attained equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. We can say that the reaction is at equilibrium. Reaction is at equilibrium. When at equilibrium state, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Question number 7, third option is correct. Rate of forward reaction is equal to the rate of backward reaction. Question number 8. Look at the question number 8. The attainment of equilibrium in a gaseous reversible reaction is detected by the consistency of option A, color, option B, option 2, density, option 3, pressure, option 4, all the above. The properties such as concentration, pressure, density, colors remains unchanged with time. So the attainment of equilibrium gaseous reversible reaction is detected by the consistency of color, density, pressure. So for the question number 8, all the above is correct. Fourth option is correct. Question number 8, fourth option is correct. Question number 9. Look at the question number 9. The reaction CaCO3 gives rise to CaO plus CO2 goes to completion in lime kiln because of the option 1, high temperature, option 2, CaO is more stable than CaCO3, option 3, CaO is not dissociated, option 4, CO2 escapes continuously. So in taking reaction of CaCO3, it is a solid, gives rise to CaO plus CO2. It is a solid, CO2 is a gas. So whenever thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate, here is a carbon dioxide is a gas. The carbon dioxide will escape from the container. So to make the reversible reaction, carbon dioxide is not available. So because it is a open way. So in open vessel, the reaction of thermal decomposition of calcium carbonate is a irreversible reaction because of carbon dioxide escapes from the container. If you want to make the reaction reversible, we have to take must closed vessel. So look at the question number 9. The reaction of CaCO3 gives a CaO plus CO2 goes to completion. The reaction is going to completion. Reaction is completing in a sense the carbon dioxide is escaping from the container. So question number 9, fourth option is correct. CO2 escapes continuously. CO2 escapes continuously, so that reversible reaction is not possible. So the reaction is going to complete. Question number 10. The chemical equilibrium is dynamic because. Question number 10. The chemical equilibrium is dynamic because. Option 1, equilibrium attained quickly. Option 2, concentration of reactants and products become same at equilibrium. Option 3, concentration of reactants and products are constant but different. Option 4, both forward and backward reactions occur at all time with same speed. Nothing but rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So at equilibrium state, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So that chemical equilibrium is dynamic in nature because of rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. So question number 10, fourth option is correct. Both forward and backward reactions occur at all time with same speed. Question number 10, fourth option is correct. Next question number 11. Look at the question number 11. Which of the following reaction can be followed by its color change? Option 1, SO2 plus of O2 gives rise to SO3. Here SO2 is a colorless gas, O2 is a colorless gas, and SO3 also a colorless gas. So there is no color in the first option. Second option, N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. N2 is a colorless gas, H2 is a colorless gas, and ammonia is also a colorless gas. So second also incorrect option. Third option, 2HI gives rise to H2 plus I2. Here HI is a colorless gas and hydrogen is a colorless gas. Iodine is a violet colored gas. Iodine is violet colored gas. So 2HI gives rise to H2 gas plus I2 gas. Here iodine is a violet color. Violet color gas. So look at the question number 11. Which of the following reaction can be followed by its color change? Third option, 2HI gives rise to H2 plus I2 because iodine is a violet color gas. Question number 11, third option is correct. Next, question number 12. Look at the question number 12. A gas bulb is filled with NO2 gas and immersed in a ice bath at 0 degrees centigrade, which becomes colorless after some time. This colorless gas will be option 1 NO2, option 2 N2O, option 3 N2O4, option 4 N2O5. So I am taking NO2. Initially is given, NO2 is given. A gas bulb is filled with NO2 gas immersed in ice bath at 0 degrees centigrade. That means we are cooling NO2. So I am taking 2 moles of NO2 upon cooling. Upon cooling, the NO2 dimerizes. NO2 is a brown color gas. Brown color gas. NO2 is a brown color gas. Upon cooling of NO2, it dimerizes. So 2 nitrogens will become N2. 2 2s are 4 oxygens. These oxygens will become O4. N2O4. So here is NO2 converting into N2O4 dimerizes. And if the reversible reaction, if we have to heat it, upon heating N2O4 converting into NO2. So brown color converting into colorless. Brown color converting into colorless. The colorless gas is nothing but N2O4. Look at the question number 12. A gas bulb is filled with NO2 gas and immersed in an ice bath at 0 degrees centigrade, which becomes colorless after some time. This colorless gas will be, so NO2 brown color converting into colorless gas. That colorless gas is nothing but N2O4 because dimerization of NO2 converts into N2O4. Question number 12, third option is correct. Next, question number 13. Look at the question number 13. The law of mass action cannot be applied to. So the law of mass action can be applied to the chemical equilibrium, but the law of mass action cannot be applied to the physical equilibrium. Then we have to check chemical equilibrium and physical equilibrium given options, in a given 4 options. Option 1, decomposition of gases HI. So HI upon decomposition will produce H2 gas plus I2 gas. It is a chemical equilibrium. Look at the second option, decomposition of gases PCl5. PCl5 in the gaseous state, upon decomposition will produce PCl3 gas plus Cl2 gas. It is also a chemical equilibrium. So chemical equilibrium established in the 2 reactants and products. Next, transition of rhombic sulfur to the monoclinic sulfur. Rhombic sulfur to the monoclinic sulfur. Monoclinic sulfur. So it is not a chemical equilibrium, it is a physical equilibrium. Physical equilibrium, these 2 are the chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium. Look at the 4th option, decomposition of calcium carbonate, CaCO3. So CaCO3 gives rise to, you have to take a closed vessel. So CaO solid plus CO2 gas. So it is also a equilibrium established between the reactants and the product. It is also a chemical equilibrium. Chemical. So look at the third option. In the third option, law of mass action cannot be applied to the physical equilibrium. Remaining three or four remaining options are chemical equilibrium. The third option, rhombic sulfur to monoclinic sulfur to rhombic sulfur is a physical equilibrium. The law of mass action cannot be applied to the physical equilibrium. So question number 13, third option is correct. Question number 13, third option is correct. Next, question number 14. Look at the question number 14. For a given set of experimental conditions, with increasing the concentration of reactants, the rate of chemical reaction. According to law of mass action, rate of a chemical reaction directly proportional to the concentrations of reactants. So, according to law of mass action, according to law of mass action, according to law of mass action, chemical reaction. So, rate of reaction directly proportional to concentration of reactants. Look at for a given set of experimental conditions, with increase in the concentration of the reactants, the rate of chemical reaction, both are directly proportional to each other. So, concentration increases, the rate of reaction is going to get increases. Look at option 14th, second option is correct. So, concentration increases, rate of reaction is going to get, rate of chemical reaction is going to get increases. So, 14, second option is correct, increases. Question number 14, second option is correct. Next, question number 15. Look at the question number 15. The following are some statements about active masses. Option A, active mass of pure liquids and solids taken as a unity. Option B, active mass of electrolytes is taken as a molality. Option C, for dilute solutions of non-electrolytes, the active mass can be taken as a molarity. So, concentration is also called as active masses. So, in earlier days we are using active masses. Active masses is nothing but concentration. So, active mass is also nothing but molarity. Active mass. Active mass is nothing but what? Concentration. Concentration is nothing but what we can take molarity. Active mass is nothing but molarity. Look at the options. Active masses of pure liquids and solids are taken as unity. So, the active masses of pure liquids and solids are taken as a unity. So, statement A is correct. First option is correct. First statement is correct. Next, second, active masses of electrolytes is taken as a molality. So, active mass is equal to molarity, not molality. So, that B option is incorrect. Look at the third one. Third statement, for dilute solutions of non-electrolytes, the active mass can be taken as a molarity. So, that active mass is equal to molarity. So, statement 3, for dilute solutions of non-electrolytes, the active masses can be taken as a molarity. So, third statement is correct. So, A statement is correct and C statement is correct, B statement is incorrect. So, A and C are incorrect. Look at the options. The correct combination is first option A and B, second option B and C, third option A and C, fourth option A, B, C. So, A statement is correct, C statement is correct. So, for 15th question, third option is correct, A and C. So, 15th question, third option is correct. Next, question number 16. Look at the question number 16. For a reversible reaction, if the concentration of reactants are doubled, then equilibrium constant value is. So, the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon the concentrations of reactants, products, pressure and catalyst and volume of the vessel. So, the value of equilibrium constant independent, that means do not depends upon the value of equilibrium constant, do not depend upon, one is concentrations of reactants and products. It do not depends upon pressure and it do not depends upon catalyst and the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon volume of the vessel. So, that question number 16, third option is correct, remains the same. For a reversible reaction, if the concentration of reactants are doubled, the equilibrium constant value is remains the same. So, the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon concentrations of reactants and products. Question number 16, third option is correct. Next, question number 17. Look at the question number 17. For a reversible, for a reactions involving gases reactants, for a reactions involving gases reactants and products, the equilibrium constant Kp is written in terms of Kp will be written in terms of partial pressures of gases. Already you know I given in general equation A moles of A plus B moles of B gives rise to C moles of C plus D moles of D. So for this general equation you can write equilibrium constant in terms of pressures, in terms of concentration also. In terms of concentration we are taking Kc. Kc is equal to concentrations of products by product of concentrations of products by product of concentrations of reactant. So like this we have to write. The same reaction we can write Kp. Kp is equal to Pd power D by partial pressure of A power A and partial pressure of B power B. So this is Kp is the equilibrium constant in terms of equilibrium constant with respect to the partial pressures. Okay? Equilibrium constant with respect to partial pressure. Kc is the equilibrium constant with respect to concentration, molar concentration. So look at the option. For a reactions involving gases, reactants and products, the equilibrium constant Kp is written in terms of partial pressures of gases. 17, third option is correct. Question number 17, third option is correct. Next question number 18. Look at the question number 18. In the case of gaseous homogeneous reaction, the active mass of reactant is obtained by the expression. So according to ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. So we have to take ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. Here P is equal to, I am labeling as N by V into RT. N by V into RT. So N by V is nothing but concentration. C is equal to N by V, that is equal to concentration. Then P is equal to C R T. In the place of N by V I kept C. C is nothing but concentration. So what is the question is, in case of gaseous homogeneous reaction, the active mass of reactants is obtained by the expression. We have to find the active mass of reactant, nothing but concentration. So C is equal to P by RT. C is equal to P by RT. Here C is nothing but concentration, concentration is nothing but active mass, nothing but molarity. C is equal to P by RT. Look at the options. 18th question, second option P by RT. So 18th question, second option is correct. Question number 18, second option is correct. Next question number 19. Look at the question number 19. The molar concentration of 64 grams of SO2 in 4 liter flask would be. So here we have to find out molar concentration. We know the formula, molar concentration C is equal to N by V. We know the formula C is equal to N by V, molar concentration. So here is the number of moles we have to find out. Number of moles we have to find, number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. Number of moles is equal to mass by molar mass. Here is a mass is given, mass of SO2. So mass is given how much? 64 grams. The mass is given 64 grams. Molar mass of SO2. This is for SO2. Molar mass of SO2 is equal to sulfur is 32 and oxygen is 16 plus 16 32. 32 plus 32 64. So molar mass is 64 gram per mole, isn't it? The number of moles is equal to 64 by 64. That is equal to 1. Number of moles is equal to 1 we got. Isn't it? Volume is given. Volume is how much is given? How much volume is given? 4 liters. So this is 4 liters. Then molar concentration is equal to, molar concentration is equal to N by V. N is equal to how much? 1. So 1 by 4. That is equal to 0.25. So the molar concentration is equal to 0.25. Question number 19, fourth option is correct. 1 by 4, nothing but 0.25. Next question number 20. Look at the question number 20. The equilibrium constant of a reaction is, so first option, which has only numerical value and carries no units. Second option, with or without units, so depending upon the stoichiometric coefficients of the species involved in a chemical equation. Look at the third option, whose values always depends upon the units in which concentration of species involved in a chemical reaction. Option 4, whose values change if the concentration of all the species involved in a chemical reaction are doubled. So here the equilibrium constant of a reaction, look at the second option, with or without units depending upon the stoichiometric coefficient of species involved in a equation. This is the correct option. So question number 20, second option is correct. Look at the question number 21. With increasing the temperature, the value of equilibrium constant. So question number 21. With increasing the temperature, the value of equilibrium constant. So here we have two different cases. One is endothermic reactions. Endothermic reactions. In the case of endothermic reactions, the equilibrium constant K is directly proportional to temperature. Directly proportional to temperature. This is the first one. And I am taking second one, exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions. Exothermic reactions in the sense heat is, that means heat is evolved. Heat evolved. That means delta H is equal to what we have taken? Negative. Here is heat is absorbed. Heat is absorbed. That means delta H is equal to what we can take? Positive. So delta H is positive for endothermic reactions. For exothermic, delta H is negative. For this case, K is inversely proportional to temperature. K is inversely proportional to temperature. So in the case of endothermic reactions, temperature increases, K is going to get increases. But in the case of exothermic reactions, temperature increases, K is going to get decreases, isn't it? So that depends upon temperature increases or decreases, depends upon the reaction is endothermic or exothermic. The increasing of K value depends upon the reaction may be endothermic or exothermic. Endothermic in the sense temperature increases, K increases. Exothermic temperature decreases, K is going to get decreases. So look at the options. With increase in temperature, the value of equilibrium constant increases, but here is decreases. No. So second option decreases, but here is increases. No. So may increases or decreases. This is the correct option. So in the case of endothermic reactions, temperature increases, K increases. In the case of exothermic reactions, temperature increases, K is going to get decreases. So may increases or decreases. Question number 21, third option is correct. Question number 21, third option is correct. Next question number 22. Look at the question number 22. If different quantities of ethyl alcohol and acetic acid are used in a reversible reaction, CH3COOH plus C2H5OH gives rise to CH3COOC2H5 plus H2O. Then the equilibrium constant at constant temperature will have the values. So option 1, same in all cases. Option 2, different in all cases. Option 3, higher in case of when higher concentration of ethyl alcohol used. And option 4, higher in case of higher concentration of acetic acid used. In a reaction, look at the question. If different quantities of ethyl alcohol and acetic acid are used in a reversible reaction. So here the equilibrium constant value do not depends upon initial concentrations of reactants and products, and the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon the pressure, catalyst concentration, and volume of the vessel. So the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon the initial concentrations of reactions and products, catalyst, pressure, concentration, and volume of vessel. So question number 22, first option is correct, same in all cases. So question number 22, first option is correct. Next, question number 23. The value of Kc for the reaction. So question number 23, the value of Kc for the reaction N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3 depends on option 1, temperature, option 2, pressure, option 3, collisions, and option 4, concentration. So I already stated the point, the value of equilibrium constant do not depends upon initial concentrations of reactants and products, and it do not depends upon the catalyst, and it do not depends upon the concentration, pressure, and volume of the vessel. So look at the option, and the value of equilibrium constant depends upon temperature. The value of equilibrium constant depends upon temperature. So temperature increases, K increases, temperature decreases, temperature increases for endothermic reaction, endothermic reactions, temperature increases, K is going to get increases. For exothermic reactions, temperature increases, K is going to get decreases. So for 23, first option is correct. The value of Kc depends upon temperature but not on pressure, collision and concentration. Question number 23, first option is correct, temperature. Next, question number 24. Look at the question number 24. The following statement is incorrect about chemical equilibrium. The following statement is incorrect about chemical equilibrium. So option 1, there is no change in the concentration of reactants and products with time. Option 2, equilibrium can be attained by starting with either reactants or products. Option 3, equilibrium is dynamic. Option 4, position of equilibrium cannot be disturbed by changing the concentration of reactants or products. So question is, the following statement is incorrect about the chemical equilibrium. Look at the first option. There is no change in the concentration of reactants and products with time. So equilibrium, rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Reactants are converting into products, products are converting into reactants. So there is no change in the concentration of reactants and products with time. So there is a change in the concentrations of reactant products with time. So first option is correct. Look at the second statement. Equilibrium can be attained by starting with either reactants or products. So equilibrium can be attained either two directions. From reactant side we can attain the equilibrium, from product side also we can attain the equilibrium. So second option also is correct. Look at the third option. Equilibrium is a dynamic. That means rate of forward reaction is equal to rate of backward reaction. Reactants are converting into products, products are converting into reactants, but they are equilibrium position. So it is a dynamic. Question option 4, position of equilibrium cannot be disturbed by changing the concentrations of reactants or products. We can disturb the position of equilibrium by changing the concentrations of reactants or products. Suppose I am taking a hypothetical reaction H2 plus I2 gives rise to 2HI. So this is the reaction I took. This is the reaction I took. Suppose I increases the concentration of reactant. These are the reactants. These are the reactants. HI is the product, isn't it? So what I am doing is, already there is a equilibrium between the reactants and product. So what I am doing is, first case I am increasing the concentration of reactants. I am increasing the concentration of reactant. Reactant is adding to it. When the reactants are adding to it, the equilibrium shifts towards the forward reaction. Forward reaction is favorable. And second case, I am decreasing the concentration of reactants. Concentration of reactants decreases, equilibrium shift towards the backward direction. So equilibrium shift towards the backward direction. So this is in the case of change in the concentration. So concentration increases, equilibrium shift towards forward. Equilibrium shift towards forward. If concentration of the reactants is decreases, the equilibrium shift towards backward. This is backward. We know very well this. Second case, I am taking products. The products concentrations are going to get increases. Concentrations of products is going to get increases. When the concentrations of products are increases, equilibrium shift towards backward direction. So the reaction moves from product sides to reactants side. So backward reaction is favorable. When concentrations of products are increases, this is the increasing of concentrations of reactants. Second case, concentrations of products decreases. Concentrations of products decreases. That means I am decreasing the concentration of product. Then equilibrium shift towards forward direction. Opposite here you will get. So you will get forward. Forward direction. So equilibrium shift towards forward direction. So when the equilibrium shift towards forward direction, when concentrations of products are decreases and concentrations of products increases, equilibrium shift towards backward direction. So here the position of equilibrium we can change. The position of equilibrium can be changed by changing the concentrations of reactants or products also. Look at the question number 24. So question number 24, the following statement is incorrect about equilibrium. Incorrect about equilibrium. The position of equilibrium cannot be disturbed. Cannot be disturbed by changing the concentration of reactants or products. We can disturb it. The position of equilibrium can change by increasing the concentrations or decreasing the by increasing or decreasing the concentrations of reactants and product. Question number 24, fourth option is correct. Question number 24, fourth option is correct. Next, question number 25. Look at the question number 25. When the catalyst is introduced into a reversible reaction, then increase the rate of forward reaction only. Second option, increase the rate of backward reaction only. Third option, equilibrium is not changed. And fourth one, attains equilibrium quickly. So when the catalyst is introduced in the reaction, the catalyst does not alter the state of equilibrium. Catalyst does not alter the state of equilibrium, but catalyst it speeds up only attainment of equilibrium. Catalyst speeds up attainment of equilibrium. It makes the reaction very quickly. So look at the options. First option, increase the rate of forward reaction. Second option, increase the rate of backward reaction only. Third option, equilibrium is not changed, attains equilibrium quickly. Look at the question number 20. Fourth option is correct. So catalyst attains equilibrium quickly. Catalyst speeds up the attainment of equilibrium. So 25th, fourth option is correct. Attains equilibrium quickly. Next question number 26. Look at the question number 26. The active mass of 5.6 liters of O2 at STP. So we have to calculate active mass of 5.6 liters of O2 at STP. So what is the data is given is volume is given. Volume is 5.6 liters. Volume is 5.6 liters. So we have to calculate active mass. Active mass. Nothing but concentration. We have to calculate. Is in concentration we have to calculate. Next, what is the number of moles we have to find out? Number of moles at STP. Number of moles at STP condition. Number of moles at STP. So N is equal to given volume by 22.4 at STP. So what is the volume is given? So volume by 22.4. What is the volume is given? 5.6. That is equal to 5.6 by 22.4. That is equal to 1 by 4. So number of moles is equal to 1 by 4. That is nothing but 0.25. So number of moles is equal to 0.25. So what is the formula for active mass? C is equal to formula N by V. So C is nothing but concentration, concentration nothing but active masses. N is equal to how much we got? 0.25. 0.25 by volume is how much is given? 5.6. So 0.2 by 5.6. So then C is equal to active mass nothing but C is equal to 0.2 by 5.6. Look at the options. Question number 26, fourth option. Question number 26, fourth option is correct. Next, question number 27. Look at the question number 27. In the system, CaF2 gives rise to Ca plus 2 plus 2F minus. Increasing the concentration of CaF2 4 times, the equilibrium concentration of F minus will be changed to. So what is the equation is given is question number 27, CaF2. So CaF2 solid gives rise to Ca plus 2. Ca plus 2, this is in aqueous state, plus 2F minus in aqueous state. Right, this is the equation is given to us. So increasing the concentration of Ca plus 2 4 times, equilibrium concentration of F minus would changes. So what is the question is if the Ca plus 2 n concentration is increases 4 times, what is the F minus n concentration? So for this case, first I am taking initial constant. For this case, first we have to write equilibrium constant K. So equilibrium constant K is equal to Ca plus 2 n concentration and F minus concentration power 2 by CaF2 solid. This is aqueous, this is aqueous, this is solid. Whenever the solid is there, the molar concentration of solid and pure liquid is taken as a constant. Then equation can be modified as K is equal to Ca plus 2 concentration F minus n concentration power 2. So this is the equilibrium constant for this equation. Now, so initial concentration I am taking as concentration of Ca plus I am taking as X. This I am labeling as X. Concentration of Ca plus I am labeling as X. So concentration of F minus I am labeling as Y for understanding purpose. Right, initial I am taking K is equal to X, this is what? Y square. F minus power 2 will be there. So Y power 2 we have taken. So initial concentration of Ca plus take as X and the initial concentration of F minus I taken as a y. So x, this will be y square. This I'm labeling as a 1. Understanding purpose I'm taking this. So like this equation also we can take. Next, K is equal to, here increasing the concentration of Ca plus to 4 times, the equilibrium concentration of F minus will be changed to. So here the concentration of Ca plus increases 4 times. So that means x becomes 4x, isn't it? So concentration of Ca plus increases 4 times. So x becomes 4x. So what we have to do is we have to find out the equilibrium concentration of F minus will be changed to. So we have to find out the equilibrium concentration of F minus, concentration power 2 we have to find out. F minus concentration we have to find out. So substitute the second equation in first equation or first equation in second equation, then we'll get 4x into F minus in concentration power 2 is equal to xy square, isn't it? Then we have to find out F minus and concentration. So F minus and concentration power 2 is equal to, so xy square by 4x. So x will going to get cancel. Then F minus ion concentration, taking the squaring on the both sides, will get y by 2. So here is y is nothing but what we have to take, y is nothing but F minus ion concentration. The concentration reduced to half, 1 by 2. So look at 1/2 of its initial volume. So 27, first option is correct. What we will get is F minus concentration by 2. So F minus concentration by 2, the initial in the system CaF2 gives rise to CaF2 plus 2F minus, increasing the concentration of Ca plus 2 4 times, the equilibrium concentration of F minus will be changed to 1/2 of its initial volume, 1/2 of its initial volume, concentration of F minus by 2, 1/2 of its initial volume. So question number 27, first option is correct.